nights, truths on the run. Buried secrets were the ones who dig them up for fun. Headstones in the graveyard where stories reside. We bring back headlines, no place to hide. Try to cover it, but we'll find the trace. Shadows and whispers, no escape from this place. Headstones and headlines, where the truth collides. We'll expose the lies. There's nowhere to hide. From the dirt to the grit, we'll make it clear. True crime uncovered, it's why we're here. The headline tells a tale of deceit. From the grave to the page, the truth remains. Cold cases, long leads, nothing gets by. We turn the stones, leave no questions why. You can run, but we're hard on the trail. Every secret's revealed, no matter how scaled. Headstones and headlines, where the truth collides. We'll expose the lies. There's nowhere to hide. From the dirt to the grit, we'll make it clear. True crime uncovered, it's why we're here. In the dark of the night, we bring it to light. Every crime, every lie, every fight. No stone left unturned, no truth left unsaid. We write the headlines from the graves of the dead. Headstones and headlines, where the truth collides. We'll expose the lies. There's nowhere to hide. From the dirt to the grit, we'll make it clear. True crime uncovered, it's why we're here. Headstones and headlines, where the stories remain. We dig 'em up, we feel their pain. The truth is out, the case is closed. But our search for justice never slows.
Oh boy, why does this always do this? I don't know. They have this on StreamYard, they have this beta scenes. Oh, maybe that's why. Oh, there we go. Now I've got it. So I had to toggle between them. Whoops. And I apologize for being late. I honestly thought I had scheduled this for 4:30, and Sinner just sent me a message and said, "Did you realize you had this scheduled for 4:15?" I was like, "Nope. Oops. Oopsie." So thanks for being here, even though I'm late. It is a beautiful day here in upstate New York. When I got home, my car said it was 74 degrees outside. And it was gloomy all morning, but the sun did start to come out. So I was able to go for a walk and get outside for a little bit, and I think that's probably why I always do 4:30, so I guess I just assumed I was doing 4:30 again today. But tomorrow is supposed to be a high of 43. So it's going to be a stark difference from today tomorrow. So I see SG is here. Thanks for being here. Green, Pookie, Blue, thanks for being here. And I am going to read your comment in a moment. Patty, thanks for being here. Sinner, thanks for being here. Ninja, good to see you. So Blue says, this kind of horror keeps me wondering if there's trapped peoples in any age in the neighborhoods around me. Who'd know? You know, and I kind of thought about that too, because we talked about the 32-year-old man from Connecticut who had been held captive for 20 years plus. You have the Turpin family. You have, you know, a lot of these children that were kidnapped and held. You just never know. You never know. And, you know, I know, well, I kind of know I know my one neighbor, but my other neighbor, I think I've seen her twice since she moved in, and she's lived there, I would say, at least 5 years. So, it's just, you know, it's true. You never know. You never know. And that's why, you know, I try to be aware of my surroundings and just, you know, notice things that might be weird or strange. Green says, I slept outside just the other day and last night it snowed. Oh no. This weather is like, where is spring? I'm tired of it's supposed to be a low of 29 tonight. 29. It's time. It's April tomorrow. This is wild weather. Pookie. Something isn't right when Texas and Florida gets more snow than Iowa. Yeah, I mean, winter here we got some decent amount of snow, but my magnolia tree hasn't even started blooming. Like, that's how last year, although I can't complain last year because the weather got warm so early, it bloomed and then ended up dying right away because then we got frost. So I'm excited for that. But in the same respect, I now have more time to get my rose bushes under control because they are wild. They're wild. So today I do have an update on the earthquake in Myanmar and Thailand. And then there's not a whole lot of information about the story that I have on my thumbnail about this 15-year-old boy with autism who ran to a grocery store for help. He was naked. His hands were bound. It appeared that his feet had also been bound because there was a rope around one of his ankles. His mom, the mom's husband, and his grandmother were all arrested. However, what made me very angry is I read today that only the mom is currently in jail. The other two have been released from custody. And I tried to find court records, couldn't find anything. So there's just not a whole lot to go on with that story. And then I do have some other stories that I found through the week. And then I have a few articles as well. Specifically, for those of you who were with me when I covered Robert Brooks, who was a man who was killed at Marcy Correctional Facility by correctional officers, there was another death of a man named Messiah. and this was at Mid-State Prison, and 15 correctional officers have been placed on leave due to that death. So we're going to talk about that, and I haven't had time to really look into it, but I did see that the prison officers have been identified, so we're going to take a look at that. And the last story I have for us is a feel-good story about a woman who has a fundraiser that has gone viral, and not because she posted the fundraiser, but because her community members did. Oh, really, Pookie? You just from yeah, every day I leave for work, I see them, and I'm just like, it's a mess. And so I just need to like clean out, like the area, because like when the wind blows, there's like all kinds of garbage in there, and I just need to get out and do it. I know, Ninja. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So first thing we're going to look at is an update on the excuse me, the earthquake in Myanmar. So these freaking ads, I swear, they're a pain in the ass. So it says signs of life detected in quake struck Bangkok skyscraper. Death toll tops 2,000. It's actually just over 2,000. So it's amazing that, so it's been about 4 days. Oh no, 3 days. So about 3 days since the earthquake hit on Friday. So it says China says rescuers pulled 4 survivors from Mandalay rubble. Thai efforts focus on collapsed Bangkok skyscraper, 75 missing. Death toll 2,065 in Myanmar, 19 confirmed dead in Thailand. Myanmar civil war complicates quake relief efforts, which we did talk about yesterday. Oh, good. That's so much easier to read. Rebel group says military still conducting airstrikes, which we also had talked about yesterday. So it reads, signs of life were detected in the ruins of a skyscraper in Bangkok on Monday as efforts intensified to find people trapped 3 days after a massive earthquake in Southeast Asia killed at least 2,000. Scanning machines and sniffer dogs were deployed at the unfinished skyscraper, and Bangkok's Deputy Governor Tavita Kamolvaj said rescuers were urgently working out how to access an area where signs of life had been detected 3 days from the quake. Realistic chances of survival diminish after 72 hours, she said, adding, we have to speed up. We're not going to stop even after 72 hours. In central Myanmar, rescuers freed 4 people, including a pregnant woman and a girl, from collapsed buildings in the city of Mandalay near the epicenter of Friday's 7.7 magnitude earthquake. That is incredible. Chinese rescue workers in red helmets carried 1 survivor wrapped in a metallic thermal blanket through heaps of shattered concrete and twisted metal at an apartment building in Mandalay. Drone footage of the city showed a huge multi-story building pancaked into layers of concrete, but some gilded temples were still standing. Civil war in Myanmar, where a military junta seized power in a coup in 2021, was complicating efforts to reach those injured and made homeless by the Southeast Asian nation's biggest quake in a century. Access to all victims is an issue, given the conflict situation. There are a lot of security issues to access some areas across the front lines in particular. Arnaud de by I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Resident representative of the International Committee of the Red Cross in Myanmar told Reuters. One survivor in Mandalay said that after rescue workers pulled him out of the rubble of his restaurant, he had rented a bulldozer with his own money to try to find the body of one of his workers and make the building safe for his neighbors. One rebel group said Myanmar's ruling military was still conducting airstrikes on villages in the aftermath of the quake, and Singapore's foreign minister called for an immediate ceasefire to help relief efforts. So, just a quick update on that. Sad, very sad. I know, so traumatic. And there was the New York Times had a video. There was a mosque that had collapsed, and some of the monks were kind of just wandering, trying to see if they could help anybody, but they're saying like the smells are starting, and it's 100-degree heat. It's got to be rough. So Seclusion says, I have a question about chat and listening. If you are not in chat, do people know you're listening? No, we do not. So we can only see how many people are watching, but we don't know who's watching. Right, women's where we can see how many. Yep, whereas I think on TikTok, I've never gone live on TikTok, but I believe on TikTok you can see who is watching, like what screen names are watching. And it actually shows it, like when you're watching a TikTok, it'll actually show like Headstones and Headlines has joined the live. Headstones and Headlines has followed the creator. So it kind of tells you everything that's been going on. Okay, so this story, People Magazine, of all places, I subscribe to their like crime newsletter, I guess. And this was where I initially found this story about this young boy. And, thank goodness he had, the sense to run to a public place, first of all, and to a grocery store, no less. And thankfully, those people in that grocery store did everything they needed to do to help this boy. So we're going to take a look at this. And this took place in, now I don't remember the name. It's Ceres? It's Ceres, Ceres, California. So it's California. Ceres.
On the outside, this home looks picture perfect with signs that say autism awareness. An anonymous neighbor hearing what is not seen.
They're like always banging on the walls like a fist or whatever. Bam, 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 bam.
But what police say happens behind closed doors is unimaginable.
But if they have them tied up or something in the house.
Officers say a 15-year-old boy with autism ran about a block to this grocery store.
I could hear people gasp, like a sound of shock. And I turned, and when I did, the young gentleman was coming across the front end with no clothes on.
You guys did a great job yesterday.
Thank you so much.
And I can't imagine, like, just, being at work, you're, doing whatever, cashier, manager, whatever you might be doing. And, you hear this gasp and you look and there's a young boy with no clothes running in the front of the store.
A normal day for managers at Cost Less Foods went from calm to chaotic in seconds.
This kid is in trouble and we need to get him help.
Visibly in danger.
His wrists were together and there was another rope on his ankle.
His appearance concerning.
He had 75 to 100, maybe more bruises, several bruises. all over his body.
Managers covered the teen with a coat and dialed 911.
I just kept telling him, everything's going to be okay. And I would pat him on the back and everything's going to be okay. We're here. We're going to take care of you.
Ceres police arrived shortly after.
A lady arrived on scene claiming that she was
Ceres.
looking for her son. She was identified as Leandra Renteria.
And here she is, Leandra Renteria. And she went looking for her son, no less. I would love to know how he was able to escape, because thank goodness he was able to. Unbelievable.
Police went to the home and discovered 2 other adults and a 12-year-old girl with autism. The child was not hurt.
The living conditions were, feces and urine throughout the house. Strong.
So it reminds you of the place in Michigan. Those 3 kids that, in that case, though, they were left alone. Just, I don't understand. And it seems like the 12-year-old girl with autism, she was unharmed, which would make me believe that she wasn't in the condition that the boy was.
Odors, things that are very, strong health hazards that nobody should be living in.
Police say both children were taken by Child Protective Services. Many say they will never forget that boy.
I would probably just give him a hug. And I think he would know.
3 adults were arrested on charges of child.
So here they are. And I would like to know how or why. So the mom is still in jail, the mom. These 2, which is the grandma, and I believe this is the husband or boyfriend, whomever. These 2 are out. They are no longer in custody. Pookie says, I told Emmy that these cases get to me the most. A victim that couldn't defend himself and they knew it. Yep. Yeah, Ninja. I'm trying to keep it, calm here. But
child abuse and neglect. The boy's mother, grandmother, and her husband.
okay, her husband. Ugh, scumbags. That's what they are. So we are going to take a look at the article from People magazine. It probably is a little repetitive, but I know it did have some other, these freaking ads, I swear. So boy 15 ran naked into a store after escaping, quote, deplorable home with feces and urine throughout. Now 3 people have been arrested. Authorities said the teenager was bound at the wrists when he entered a California grocery store this week. Yeah, look, this one, he won't even look up. He won't even look up at the camera. These 2, freaking disgusting. Right, SG, 15 years old, outnumbered by people stronger. So maybe it's this article. They had said, and that's why I was trying to find, actually, let me see. Actually, let me do inmate search. So this was March. Oh, they don't have them up yet, I guess. All right. Well, I'll try to find more about it. I had looked a little bit, but I wasn't able to find anything. Oh, here. Who's in jail? Nope. All right. Well, I'll have to look later, but oh boy, where am I going? Here we go. So 3 people have been arrested on suspicion of child abuse and neglect after a 15-year-old boy ran naked into a California grocery store while, quote, bound at the wrists. After police went to the teen's home where his younger sister also lived, police said they found feces and urine throughout, as well as strong odors and things that are very strong health hazards. Leandra Rentiera, the mother of the boy who is autistic, faces legal trouble, as do the teen's grandmother and her husband. On Wednesday, March 26th, around 1:39 p.m. local time, the Ceres Police Department responded to reports of a nude male running near Hatch Road in Richland Avenue. The department wrote in a statement on Facebook. Okay, so let's go to Facebook and see. I'm not a robot. Come on. What do you mean it's not correct? All right, we may not be able to get to Facebook. Okay, I guess I don't remember my password. All right. I'll have to look at that later. Try to figure it out. Oh my God, these freaking ads. When they arrived at the scene, CPD officers found the teen, who has autism, bound at the wrists inside the local cost-less grocery store. There were also indicators that he may have been bound at the ankles with multiple visible injuries, the department added, detailing that emergency medical aid was dispatched to the scene and the juvenile was transported to a local hospital for treatment. Per the CPD, the boy's mother, Leandra Rentiera, began looking for her son amid the investigation. As police learned that Rentiera, 36, had another child, a 12-year-old girl who was also autistic, they performed a welfare check at the home and found the girl safe, but authorities said the residence was in poor condition. So that does tell me that the girl was seemingly, while she was living in deplorable condition, she was seemingly unharmed, unlike the boy. The living conditions were, feces and urine throughout the house, strong odors, things that are very strong health hazards that nobody should be living in. Rentiera was then arrested on charges of child abuse and neglect and booked at the Stanislaus County Public Safety Center, along with Gary Wilson and Lenore Wilson, per the police department. KCRA reported that Lenore, 54, is the teen's grandmother and Gary, 58, is her husband. The outlet said the Wilsons were no longer in police custody as of Thursday, March 27th. It is not immediately clear if the individuals have obtained legal representation to comment on their behalf. The 2 children have since been removed from the home and placed under the care of Child Protective Services. Okay, and then they just go into, they kind of just talk about that news clip that we just watched. All right, so that's really all that is out there in relation to this, considering it happened almost a week ago. All right, so changing gears, this next story I had seen earlier last week, and this story reminds me of Sammy Toish. If you don't remember who Sammy is, Sammy was a 10-year-old boy who took his own life. after he was being bullied incessantly at school, on the bus, over the phone at home. And here we have another 10-year-old girl who took her own life because of bullying at school. 10 years old. I don't even think, thinking back, it's hard to say. I mean, but I don't even think I was thinking about that at 10 years old. I was outside playing and, kids were mean, but I think the era of social media makes things so much worse. Back when, most of us were kids would just say things to your face, and then you went home, it stopped. But now, you go online and you can block, you can ignore, but, it always seems to come back.
A Roanoke County family is dealing with an unimaginable loss. Their 10-year-old daughter, Autumn, took her own life due to bullying at school. They're now left with questions, wondering why this happened, and they're calling on everyone in the community to take action so no other families have to feel their pain. I sat down with Autumn's parents to share her story.
You see how her eyes just light up?
Yes.
Just so beautiful.
Summer and Mark Bushman in disbelief that their bright, bubbly, and kind daughter Autumn is gone.
I truly can't imagine a deeper pain than what I've experienced.
On Friday, Autumn took her own life. She was 10 years old.
I have actually talked about suicide to my 12-year-old and to my 17-year-old. And another message for parents is I never in a million years thought that I would need to talk to my 10-year-old about suicide.
You have that question, why? Why would a child who seems so bright and bubbly and happy want to leave?
Mark says Autumn started 4th grade this year at Mountain View Elementary School, and that's when the bullying started. Summer even called the school to report it.
And then they said they had handled it, and that was about as far as it went. But as far as we know, what we were told, at least by our daughter, was it kept happening. This is an age where they have tablets and they have phones, and so it's happening around the clock. They can't really escape.
Right. That's what I was saying. It's happening around the clock, and they just can't get away from it.
Escape.
A few weeks ago, things got worse.
She came to me crying and she was really upset, and she said, Mom, I'm really stressed out. I'm being bullied. Can I please stay home from school tomorrow?
They say Autumn started wearing darker clothing, not joking around as much, and sleeping more than usual.
I saw no signs that made me go, something's really wrong. But it did seem to dull her shine in the last few weeks leading up.
In this dark time, the Bushmans want everyone to remember the light that Autumn brought into the world. She loved dance, cheer, and archery. Her favorite color was baby blue, and her
She is such a cutie.
Smile could light up any room, but it was her kindness and generosity that shone through.
She lived an incredibly full life. Yeah, I really think that she gave her family and her friends a lifetime of joy in just 10 years. I don't think she would have any regrets. And I think she would want us to take this really dark time, really unfortunate event and turn it.
Gorgeous girl. Absolutely gorgeous.
Into something positive.
If you or anyone you know are struggling with depression or thoughts of suicide, call or text the Suicide and Crisis Line at 988. That resource is available 24/7. I also reached out to Roanoke County Public Schools about the bullying. A district spokesperson released this statement that reads in part, quote, "This is a tragic loss, and we stand in support of the family, friends, and Mountain View community." As our students return from spring break on March 31st, we will have additional counseling services on hand to provide assistance to any students who may need support. While we cannot discuss the specifics of this situation due to federal privacy laws and out of respect for the family, we are conducting a thorough review. Our schools take all reports of bullying and conflicts among students very seriously. The family tells me that the public is invited to attend Autumn's viewing Friday evening and funeral service this Saturday at 2 p.m. at Lott's Funeral Home.
It's awful. So I did find an article, and this is from WDBJ7. Okay, Ninja, thanks for stopping in. So it says, she loved deeply. Autumn Bushman remembered. The shoes in which a young girl used to spring from her feet to do cartwheels, an arrow stuck in a target she used to practice her archery, and the name Autumn so proudly painted into a canvas filled the chapel at Lott's Funeral Home as family and friends said their final goodbye Saturday to Autumn Bushman. Autumn, a 10-year-old, died March 21st by suicide. Her family said she was bullied in school for reasons they'll never understand. But as Autumn was laid to rest, friends and family took the time to remember the powerful life she led in the short amount of time she was given. A former teacher of hers said Autumn had magical hugs. When Autumn saw me sick or sad, she'd say, "Do you need a hug?" Half the time her arms were already around me before she finished the question. They remembered her as a girl whose personality lit up a room. Austin Calhoun, the children's director at Autumn's church, said, "I'm going to miss that joy, that infectious smile, and just that silly, sweet, spunky little girl. An encourager, soft-hearted, kind, and an amazing friend. She loved deeply," said Jenny Prickett, a close family friend of Autumn's. And they remembered her as a friend to all who were lucky enough to cross her path. "My daughter never met a stranger. She did an incredible job of loving others, accepting others, and she was just a natural with that," said Mark Bushman, Autumn's father. "It's an unimaginable loss the family still can't explain, but they're honoring Autumn's legacy to make sure no student goes through what she endured ever again. Autumn, sweet girl, your mom and dad and so very, very many others are going to work hard to stop the bullying and make sure that no other family will lose their loved ones like we lost you." Several motorcycle groups led processions through Roanoke to the funeral home. Many had orange ribbons and orange colors to symbolize the fight against bullying and on Autumn's honor. It's awful. SG says additional counseling needs to be at schools when bullying is reported, not after the child passes. I agree. And the one thing, I don't put up with, I didn't mean to stop sharing that. I don't put up with any of that nonsense in my classroom ever. The sad thing is that a lot of what happens, we don't see. It happens over social media or cell phones, outside of school where, there aren't adults. So, it just, with Sammy, like his parents knew who the bullies were. They knew who was doing these things. And, I don't know, it makes me hope that those kids who were the ones who were bullying and harassing, because it's really harassment. Call a spade a spade. They are harassing someone else. Hopefully they change their ways. I doubt they will, because they probably don't think they did anything wrong. But hopefully, they have good parents who will say, "Listen, this isn't good. This isn't good." Hey, Zoe, how are you? All right, let's see. So the next story, let me add this back. The next story I have is a New York City crash that happened over the weekend, and a mom was driving with her 3 children. Mom and 2 of her children passed away. And the driver of the car that hit them apparently didn't try to slow down, which is also gross.
Are learning more about the Ocean Parkway driver police say is responsible for the horrific fatal crash over the weekend, and some new charges that driver is now facing.
Police say the 32-year-old woman who was driving the vehicle had a suspended license when she hit the mother walking with her children. Let's get right to Good Day's Haley Fixler. She is live in Borough Park, Brooklyn with the very latest. Haley, good morning.
Good morning, Dan. Tishani, the mother and 2 out of her 3 children she was walking with on Saturday died. And the youngest child, a 4-year-old little boy, is still in the hospital right now in critical condition. Now, NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch says the driver accused in this crash shouldn't have even been on the road. Here is what we know. On Saturday afternoon, this silver car was about to take a right-hand turn onto Ocean Parkway when this blue car slammed into it. The force pushed this silver car out of the way, but the blue car kept barreling on, hitting.
Oh my God. Like, what the hell was wrong with this person? So you hit another car, and then instead of stopping, you just keep driving like a freaking maniac?
34-year-old Natasha Sada, her 8-year-old daughter Diana, 5-year-old daughter Deborah, and 4-year-old son Philip. Natasha, Diana, and Deborah were killed. Their funeral.
Oh, and apparently the woman who killed them is a wig maker, because that's what her license plate says, wig maker. Maybe it should say widow maker. I'm not sure if this woman was married, but maybe this woman should have had a different license plate.
Was yesterday. The little boy still fighting for his life.
This was just an innocent mother. She's probably just taking a walk, enjoying her Saturday. And it's just very unfortunate.
It's really a shame. And my heart goes out to the family. You know, I can't even imagine how the husband and that little baby is in the hospital.
Now, the driver of the car was 32-year-old Miriam Urimi. She is currently getting a psych evaluation at Bellevue after she allegedly said some things to first responders.
All right, Miriam, I'm going to write down her name because I'm going to look up her. Miriam Urimi. I'm going to look up her court stuff.
Immediately after the crash, officials say not only did she have a suspended license, but she also reportedly had 93 moving violations and $10,000 of unpaid fines.
Jesus, 93 moving violations and $10,000 in unpaid fines? She should have been in jail. Jesus Christ. Unbelievable. All right, why aren't you playing?
While she hasn't yet been arraigned, Urimi is facing numerous charges, including 3 counts of second-degree manslaughter, 3 counts of criminal negligent homicide, and 4 counts of second-degree assault. Surveillance video of the crash that we are not going to show you shows how seemingly fast Urimi was going when she hit the Sada family. People living in this neighborhood tell us it's not uncommon to see drivers treat this strip of road like a freeway. While neighbors say they are happy that the police are now cracking down on speeders, they say they wish enforcement would have happened earlier to try and prevent this tragedy. And as for the people that were in the other car that was hit, we are told that they were taken to the hospital, but they should be okay. Investigators say that they're also working to determine if Urimi ran a red light and whether or not she was under the influence. Live in Borough Park, Dan, Tishani.
Haley, thank you.
And Miss Urimi I just found and I could not find any court documents related to her. So this is from the Daily News. New York Daily News. Influencer wig maker going twice speed limit when she fatally struck Brooklyn mom kids. All right, come on, Daily News. Stop with the ads. So here she is. Her car is, I mean, how the hell did she even end up upside down is what I want to know. Cops believe Brooklyn wig maker and social media influencer Miriam Yerimi was going about twice the speed limit when she fatally struck a mother and two of her children. Natasha Sada, 35, was in the crosswalk with her 3 children at Ocean Parkway and Quinton Road in Midwood when Yemini allegedly careened into them Saturday. The mom and her 2 daughters, Deborah, 5, and Diana, 8, were rushed to Maimonides Medical Center, but couldn't be saved. Her 4-year-old son remained in critical condition Monday. And here's a photo. Natasha Sada Wright was killed Saturday, March 29th, with 2 of her children when they were fatally struck by an unlicensed driver. So she was married. So Miss Miriam should change her license plate to Widowmaker because that's what she is. Investigators believe Yerimi was going about 50 miles an hour in the 25 mile per hour zone. Yerimi, 32, has been transferred to a psychiatric ward at Bellevue Hospital after being taken to NYU Langone Hospital, Brooklyn, in stable condition. After the crash, Yemini told responding medics she was possessed. Police said Sunday. Yeah, they had no chance, and I really hope they didn't see it coming. Oh my God, stop it. Look at these beautiful kids. Diana Sada, 8, and Deborah Sada, 5, were killed Saturday with their mother. Their 4-year-old brother was critically hurt in the crash. Police have applied for a warrant for the data box from Yerimi's car, which will show the exact speed she was traveling at and determine whether or not she tried to brake before smashing into another motorist and then the Sada family. Cops do not believe alcohol or drugs played a part in the crash. Yerimi's arraignment on charges of manslaughter, criminally negligent homicide, assault, reckless driving, aggravated unlicensed operation of a motor vehicle, failure to yield to a red light, and speeding is pending in Brooklyn Criminal Court as she undergoes a psychiatric evaluation. And this article was from today. That's why I can't find any court records, because they haven't charged her yet because she's undergoing a psych evaluation. What? I'm going to actually, let me Google her name because, let's see, Miriam Yerimi. Oh, she's a glam wig maker. Let me see if there's any updated articles. Okay, so the New York Daily News was the most recent. Oh, here, this one, I'm not sure. This is Wine cnetnews.com. This was from today as well. Driver who killed Haredi mother, 2 daughters in deadly Flatbush crash claims she was possessed. According to law enforcement, Miriam Yerimi, whose license was suspended at the time of the accident, told paramedics she was being pursued by the CIA. Acquaintances say she is unstable. Hey, Texas girl, how are you? Green says, this is exactly why I despise the saying, everything happens for a reason. Please never say that to someone who has experienced such horrific tragedies. Agreed. Yeah, she was being chased by the CIA. Okay. Like, what kind of drugs was she taking? That's what I want to know, if any. Allegedly, in my opinion. A Brooklyn woman who claims she was possessed has been charged with manslaughter after allegedly speeding through an intersection and fatally striking a mother and her 2 daughters as they crossed the street on their way home from synagogue. Oh, that's all they have? What the hell? Oh, read more. Get with the program, Emmy. Miriam Yerimi, 35, was behind the wheel of an Audi on Saturday afternoon when she ran a red light at high speed and crashed into the Sada family in the Gravesend neighborhood. Yerimi's vehicle struck an Uber, overturned, and veered onto the sidewalk, where it hit the pedestrians in a crosswalk on Ocean Parkway. So it struck the Uber, which we saw. Oh, so this makes it sound like she hit the Uber but kept going, and then her car overturned and then veered onto the sidewalk where they were in a crosswalk. I don't know, this is reading differently than the article. Oh, here she is with her Audi. So it says, Yerimi, whose license was suspended at the time of the crash, told members of the Hatzolah Jewish Ambulance Service, quote, "The devil entered me. I'm possessed," according to law enforcement sources. She also claimed she was being pursued by the CIA. Yerimi was taken to Bellevue Hospital's prison ward for a psychiatric evaluation and is awaiting arraignment. Let's look at this one. 93 freaking violations. She's 32. So let's say she got her license at 16, right? So it's 16 years, 93 violations. That's on average 3 per year. I would love to see her traffic report. And that's why her license was suspended, because she probably has too many points on it. So, woman who killed ultra-Orthodox mother, 2 daughters in Brooklyn crash had 93 violations, suspended license. She had accumulated 93 traffic violations and had been fined more than $10,000, including 20 tickets for speeding. Why is this woman not in the system for New York? Like, with that many... Right, she was driving with a revoked license and it had previous history of reckless driving, including 93 traffic violations. Somebody's going to end up... Wow, hold on. This gets better. This woman... So Urimi, 32, was behind the wheel of an Audi that ran into the family in Brooklyn on Saturday, killing 35-year-old Natasha Sada and her daughters Diana and Deborah. The Sada's 4-year-old son was also struck and is in critical condition. The 3 victims will be buried in Israel. Urimi. Okay, so now I need to look at civil court. Urimi received $2 million. $2 million about a year ago after winning a lawsuit she filed against the NYPD. All right, let me Google Miriam Urimi. Oops. Urimi lawsuit NYPD. I'm going to have to look into this more because what? The actual FUCK. Oh, okay, so here we go. New York Post. As she says, I had friends in these situations and she sounds like she was in psychosis, which is not the same as insane. Okay, so it says driver accused of mowing. Why do they use those words? Of hitting mom, her 2 daughters in New York City crash is big spending wig maker who won $2 million from NYPD rape lawsuit. Oh, and of course they probably have the surveillance video. I'm not going to show that. That's so distasteful. All right, so let's see. Urimi, who goes by the name Ellie, is a wig maker by profession, something noted by the vanity plate of the Audi in the crash, which reads wig maker. On Instagram, Urimi posed with a seemingly fresh new car back in August 2023, showing off her physique and the sporty vehicle's vanity plate. The bad driver seemed to have a taste for luxury vehicles, posting a video 2 weeks ago in a yellow Porsche. POV a year ago, I was completely broke. Today I built my first Porsche 718 Boxers S in custom black and white, she wrote in a caption to the post. Urimi also regularly boasted a seemingly luxury lifestyle, including vacation photos, cruises, and nights out on the town. Wow. Urimi won $2 million from the NYPD in a lawsuit alleging she was raped by a police officer when she was a minor. Right, and she didn't pay her fines. The 32-year-old sued the NYPD in Kings County Court in June 2023, claiming that when she was 14 years old, she was coerced into sex with a uniformed NYPD officer. Records show she won and received $2 million. So, how old is she again? 32. That was 18 years ago. And it just went to court in 2023. It's like past the statute of limitations, I think. Oh, okay. So in New York, the statute of limitations for second degree R is 20 years. Third degree R is 10 years. There's no statute of limitation for first degree. Hey, Marie, how are you? The deadly driver racked up over 93 traffic violations on Wigmaker, including 20 speeding tickets, racking up over $10,000 in fines. According to the online record site, How's My Driving? What? Oh, shoot. You can actually put somebody's plate in. So what was it? W, and I think it was the number 1. Let me try this. I have never heard of the site before. Okay, I must have put it in wrong. Oh, it's I and then an 8. That's what it is. Okay, so let me try that again. So Wig Maker. Okay, it's still thinking. So you can search New York City parking and camera violations. How's My Driving New York? It's not working now. Let me try it again. Unless they took her stuff off the site, maybe. Oh no, here it is. Oh my goodness. Well, this story has taken us on a little bit of a rabbit hole. So this is the site, How's My Driving New York.nyc. I put in her license plate, Wigmaker. So here it is, state New York, lookups, 2,855 people have looked this up. She was fined, okay, so she was fined $10,867.04. She had it reduced by $386.02. She paid $9,135.98. She owes $1,345.04. In judgment, $150.04. Violations, 99. Type, bus lane 3, parking 70, red light 5, speeding 21. 92 of those came from Brooklyn, 6 of them in Manhattan, 1 in Queens. Under Dangerous Vehicle Abatement Act, this vehicle could have been booted or impounded for 18 school zone speed camera violations. From February 24th, 2024 to December 8th, 2024. Oh, here it is. Oh my God, it even breaks it down by violation, location, the fine. 18 school zone speed. Oh my God. She had a lot of fire hydrant tickets. So she clearly just parks where she wants to. This is insane. Like, look at 2024. So 2023, I'm sure she had more than this. But 2023, I mean, it was a lot. But when you get to 2024, it like doesn't stop. It just keeps going. And actually, now that I'm looking, let's look at the dates. So January 4th, 11th, and 12th. Like every other day, she's getting a ticket. So those 90 violations were in since 2023. 2 years. And it just keeps going and going. No parking, street cleaning. So she was parked where she wasn't supposed to be parked because they were cleaning the street. Oh my, this is still 2024. Still 2024. She got 2 tickets on December 26th in 2 different places. She got, she had 2 tickets. 3 tickets on the 9th in 3 different locations. And she still was able to have her license after all of this. Registration expired or missing. So she went a couple months with no tickets, apparently. And her last ticket was on March 23rd, 2025. Oh, actually, she had 3 tickets. No registration, no standing, whatever that is, and school zone speed camera violation. That is insane. Insane. Well, I'm glad I actually read the New York Post because I did not know that site existed. So let's see. Members of the Jewish funeral home arrived and picked up all 3 victims in Brooklyn. Oh, here she is with the Porsche. Here she is with the Porsche. Oh, there's the mayor, who's not facing any charges anymore. Okay, and we kind of we went through all of her. Oh, Uremi is also a mother of 1, dedicating much of her Instagram page to sharing photos of the young girl who appears about the age of Saturday's victims. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, I personally just reading, like looking at all of her violations and just, I believe that I don't know, like I think she was just making it up. Like, it just her history, it seems like she's just she just doesn't give a shit about anything. She does what she wants because she can. Right. And I kind of agree with that, Zoe. She's just a piece of shit. Possibly SG, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how she could register with all those tickets if unpaid. Well, and the amount of points on her license. I mean, there's no way she could have had a license. I mean, there's school. Let me look up just the school zone. School zone violation. Come on, computer. So depending on how fast she was going over the speed limit in the school zone, it's anywhere from 3 to 11 points. And Reckless driving along with it or failing to stop for a school bus results in 5 points. So it says accumulating 11 points within 18 months can lead to your license being suspended or revoked, which she was driving on a suspended license. Let's see. I'm just going to do a generic search. So in New York, accumulating 11 or more points on your driving record within an 18-month period can lead to a license suspension, and you can check your point status and license status through the DMV account. So clearly she had gotten 11 or more points within a year and a half. Unbelievable. All right, so that I'm gonna keep an eye on you, Remy, because I'm very curious to see, how this proceeds, because she needs to be knocked down a few pegs. All right, so changing gears a little bit. I didn't realize that story would get me so worked up. All right, so this next story I just happened upon just before my live, and I hadn't realized that there were missing U.S. soldiers in Lithuania. 3 of them have been found. Their car was located submerged in a swamp. The 4th soldier has not yet been located. She could be lying about the perceived possession, but she could be saying crazy shit like that rapid fire all month long. Could be. It's also possible she pretends mental illness, which means she's a bad person. Yeah. I'm sure we'll find out more, for sure. I mean, I think most psychiatric holds in New York are 72 hours. So we'll see. All right, let me do this.
And we have more breaking news now. The remains of 3 U.S. Army soldiers missing in Lithuania have now been recovered. A 4th U.S. soldier still missing. Their armored vehicle was found 15 feet underwater in a swamp. Let's bring in senior Pentagon correspondent Louis.
15 feet? Wow. And this is the first I'm hearing of this, which is really sad. Let me see. Missing soldiers in Lithuania. Oh, okay. So it's not nefarious. I'm going to just skip over to this real quick. So this is from the New York Times. Hold on, I gotta close some of these windows. I got too many windows open. Okay, so it says 3 U.S. soldiers found dead in Lithuania after their vehicle sank in a swamp. The soldiers were in a vehicle that became trapped in a bog during a training mission last week. A 4th soldier was still missing. Oh my gosh. Says rescue workers used excavators, pumps, and other equipment to pull a 63-ton armored military vehicle from a bog in Lithuania. 4 U.S. Army soldiers had been using the vehicle during a training exercise. 3 U.S. Army soldiers were found dead in Lithuania on Monday, nearly a week after the armored vehicle they had been using during a training mission became stuck in a deep and muddy bog. Search and recovery operations for a 4th soldier who was also in the vehicle continued on Monday. And this was from today. The 70-ton vehicle was pulled out of the bog early on Monday morning. For days, hundreds of people, including technical experts and U.S. Navy divers, had worked to solve the complex engineering challenge of recovering the vehicle from the bog. The operation required excavators, pumps, and other construction equipment. The soldiers were reported missing on Tuesday after they did not return from a training mission, according to the U.S. military. Their vehicle, an M88 Hercules, was found submerged in the bog on Wednesday. Oh my God, that's terrible. The missing soldiers from the 1st Brigade, 3rd Infantry Division, were training near Pabrade, a city in eastern Lithuania near the border with Belarus, a close ally of Russia and a stalwart supporter of its war in Ukraine. Major General Christopher Norrie, the 3rd Infantry Division's commanding general, said in a statement on Monday that, quote, "the search isn't finished until everyone is home," end quote. Words cannot express our gratitude to those still working around the clock during these extensive search and recovery efforts and your unwavering commitment not to rest until all are found. The soldiers had been sent out in the M88 Hercules, essentially a giant armored tow truck, to extract another Army vehicle. They may have driven off the road and into the bog, and the soldiers appear to have been trapped inside. Jesus Christ. U.S. Navy divers swam into the muddy bog with zero visibility to attach 2 cables to the sunken vehicle on Sunday night. It took about 2 hours of winching to pull it out of the bog. On Sunday, rescue efforts were hampered by a landslide. Dovile Sakhalin, the Lithuanian defense minister, said on social media. She described the effort as an exhausting fight with the power of the deep swamp. The search for the 4th soldier will be challenging, according to a senior U.S. Army official in Europe. American and Lithuanian search crews were able to use sophisticated sonar technology to find the large armored vehicle, but such technology is less useful for locating a human body in a peat bog. The dive team has set up a grid system to methodically search for the 4th soldier. The initial search for the soldiers through thick forest and swampy terrain involved Lithuanian military helicopters and dive teams and hundreds of American and Lithuanian soldiers and law enforcement officers. All right, and then they just get into like the whole Russia-Ukraine stuff.
Louis Martinez. Louis, these soldiers went missing 6 days ago during a training. So what's the latest now?
Diane, the latest is that this recovery effort is finally bearing some fruit and that they were able to lift out this 63-ton armored vehicle. And it took 2 hours and a lot of heavy hardware to actually get it out of this swampy bog.
Right.
And then later inside, they were finally able to go inside the vehicle. And they were only able to find 3 of the soldiers of the 4 that had been inside this vehicle. 3 of them now confirmed deceased. And the 4th is a major effort underway now to try to find his remains, since he is presumed to be deceased as well. The Navy sent in divers this weekend. They attached hooks to be able to to lift out the vehicle earlier today. And now they're going to switch to a grid pattern. We are talking about zero visibility, Diane. It is very murky. It is full-on muddy area, and divers there just say they cannot see anything. And so they are going to establish this grid to try to find the remains of this fourth soldier. And officials are saying that it's going to take as long as it can because they want to find this fourth missing soldier.
All right. Senior Pentagon reporter Louis Martinez, thank you.
Gosh. I hope that they are able to find the fourth soldier sooner than later. It's really sad. Really sad. Okay, so the next story I'm gonna kind of since we got into some of them, I'm gonna save some of the stories I had for a different live. So I have this story about the prison officers who have been suspended due to another death in custody. And then we have one final video about a server in which her community is really helping her to hopefully be able to retire. So this is from the Times Union, and this was March 26th, which is about a week ago, is when I saw it. Prison officers identified in probe of Messiah Nantui's beating death. At least one of the 15 correction officers placed on leave following fatal incident at Mid-State Prison had previously been accused of excessive force. And we saw the same thing in Robert Brooks' case. Several of the officers involved in his death were also a part of current litigation involving another inmate. At least one of the 15 correction officers who were placed on administrative leave earlier this month amid an investigation into the beating death of an inmate at Mid-State Correctional Facility has faced prior allegations of excessive force. State corrections officials said the officers, including 3 sergeants, are considered persons of interest in the March 1st death of 22-year-old Messiah Nantwi, who died after an incident in which other inmates have said he was beaten by multiple correction officers, including members of a correctional emergency response team. The Times Union reported on March 5th that an ongoing homicide investigation has been hampered because multiple officers involved in the incident had turned off or covered up their body cameras, leaving very little video evidence of what happened. Seems they learned from their friends at Marcy Correctional. Hey, Angie. What a bunch of assholes. I'm sorry. I don't mean to swear, but that's what they are. They knew not to do that because of all of the implementations they had put in place after Mr. Brooks was beaten to death. While there has been no determination concerning any individual's involvement, at the direction of the governor, the commissioner has placed all individuals identified as part of the inquiry on administrative leave pending the results of an ongoing internal disciplinary review process. Separate from the pending disciplinary charges, the state police homicide investigation is being coordinated with the Office of Onondaga County District Attorney William J. Fitzpatrick, who was appointed as a special prosecutor in the case, as well as the Corrections Department's Office of Special Investigations. Fitzpatrick also is a special prosecutor in the unrelated beating death of Robert L. Brooks at Marcy Correctional Facility on December 9th. In that case, 13 correction officers are facing criminal charges, including 6 who have been charged with murder, 3 with manslaughter, and 1 with tampering with evidence. Another 3 officers have agreed to plead guilty to reduce charges and cooperate in that investigation. That I need to look up updates because I hadn't realized that 3 officers now have agreed to plead guilty. Fitzpatrick was named as a special prosecutor in both cases after the state attorney general's office recused itself, citing its earlier work defending lawsuits against some of the officers. The 15 officers placed on leave 3 weeks ago after Nantwi's death include 5 who were working at Marcy Correctional Facility, which is next door to Midstate. Both are medium security prisons in Oneida County, and they are literally across the street from one another. Marcy is on one side of the street, Midstate is on the other side of the street. I agree, SG. Turning off cameras or covering up should be grounds for suspension or firing, depending on situation. And honestly, I think it should be automatic dismissal because it was stated you have to have your body cams on, and they deliberately turned them off or covered them up. It's unclear whether the Marcy officers placed on leave this month, Craig Klemick, Zachary Lallier, Tristan Shepard, Thomas Eck, and Nicholas Vitale, had been assigned to Midstate on the day of Nantwi's death as a result of staffing shortages during a recent statewide prison strike that affected operations at dozens of correctional facilities. So more Marcy officers were placed on leave. Interesting. The officers from Midstate who have been placed on leave are Frank Jacobs, Adam Joseph, Jonah Levy, Joshua Bartlett, Nathan Palmer, Caleb Blair, Daniel Berger, Sergeant Donald Slauson, Sergeant Francis Chandler, and Sergeant Michael Iffert. State corrections officials declined to say whether any of those 15 officers have been accused of using excessive force during their law enforcement careers. A department official directed the Times Union to file a formal request for their disciplinary records. On Wednesday morning, after the story was published, the department said that Bartlett, Lallier, and Chandler have been suspended without pay. So, who was it? Slauson? Oh no, Bartlett, Lallier, and Chandler. So only 1 sergeant and 2 officers are suspended without pay. The other ones are just on administrative leave, so they're still getting paid. Court records indicate that Bartlett, 48, who graduated from a correctional officers training academy in 2016 and began working at Midstate later that year, was among multiple officers accused of beating an inmate at the same prison in April 2018. The inmate in that case alleged that Bartlett told him to, quote, get on the wall because he was walking to a mess hall with his shirt untucked. The inmate, Everton Gonzalez, claimed that Bartlett slapped him across the face when he turned his head and then began punching and kicking him as other officers arrived and joined in the assault. In a lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court and 2 petitions filed in the State Court of Claims, Gonzalez claimed he was beaten a second time a year later. In that incident, he said, one of the officers who attacked him had the same last name as Bartlett, and he alleged they told him it was due to his grievances and lawsuits. But in July 2023, Court of Claims Judge David A. Weinstein dismissed the state claims following a trial in Albany that included no video evidence and overwhelming testimony from officers and a nurse that Gonzalez, who had claimed to lose hearing in one of his ears during the first assault, had fabricated the allegations. They also alleged that he had attacked Bartlett during the first incident and was taken to the ground and handcuffed without incident. But of course, they all got their stories straight. Unbelievable. Gonzalez, 33, had described the April 2018 assault as violent and unprovoked and said arriving officers joined in by kicking and striking him while Bartlett delivered one last punch to his kidneys. He said that when they handcuffed him, the officers yanked his arms high in the air behind his back and continued striking him before bringing him to an infirmary and then to a special housing unit. During the non-jury trial in the Court of Claims 2 years ago, there was conflicting testimony from some prison employees about details that followed the first incident. For instance, a nurse who examined Gonzalez testified that he had only very minor injuries and that she had no record of him passing out after being brought to a solitary confinement cell. But a sergeant who claimed that he had not witnessed any officers punching or kicking Gonzalez documented in a memorandum that he, quote, lost consciousness in the special housing unit and was brought to a local hospital for treatment. There's no dispute about how the encounter began. Bartlett told Gonzalez to tuck in his shirt. Gonzalez gave a sharp response, and Bartlett responded by frisking Gonzalez. Weinstein wrote in his 25-page decision dismissing the claims. But as to Gonzalez's claim that Bartlett took him to the ground during the frisk without provocation, rather than in response to an attempted assault by him, as Bartlett claims, I find that he has not met his burden of proof. After Weinstein issued his ruling, which cited inconsistent statements by Gonzalez, the federal lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court in Albany was discontinued at the request of Gonzalez's attorney and the state attorney's general office. Gonzalez, who was serving a 10-year sentence for drug and weapons charges, was released from prison later that year. The outcome of his civil claims was not unusual. Inmates, prisoners' rights groups, and attorneys who represent the interests of incarcerated individuals have alleged that it is common for correction officers to use force on inmates in retaliation for them filing grievances or civil claims, and then lie about what happened. In turn, correction officers have at times accused inmates of fabricating allegations of excessive force. Of course they have. The lack of video evidence in the alleged beating death of Nantwi sets that case apart from the fatal beating of Brooks at Marcy Prison, when body cameras worn by 4 officers, including a sergeant, were recording passively without their knowledge. But Fitzpatrick's investigation of Brooks's death was fast-moving and aided by the fact that the last of the 3 unprovoked beatings he endured that night at the hands of Marcy correctional officers was captured on body cam video. And then it just gets into oh yeah, here it is. In February, the department's policies governing body cameras were updated to make it more clear they must be worn and activated at the prison facilities where they're in use. It's unclear why the emergency response team members or other officers who allegedly used physical force on Nantwi did not record their actions, or that supervisors did not order them to do so as required. I believe it should be instant termination. You turned them off for a reason. You covered them up for a reason. Yes, and it says it was formally adopted on February 15th. Plenty of time for them to do what they were supposed to be doing. Unbelievable. All right, so I just want to see if there was anything. Okay, so this is interesting. It says law enforcement sources said the incident preceding Nantwi's beating began when he was acting out and a National Guard member called for assistance from an emergency response team. And we had read that and in an earlier live I did. Nantwi had medical health issues, they said, and may not have been getting medication due to the strike conditions. Oh, and that was it. But still no reason to beat him. Still no reason to beat him to death. Unbelievable. Okay, SG says, I was taking into consideration bathroom times can be turned off. Yeah, that's a good. That's a good, actually, a good perspective. Observation, I should say. Okay, so we have one last story, and this is when was, I don't remember. This was, I think, a couple of days ago. 81-year-old server at Eaton Park, center of viral fundraiser. So this woman, 81 years old, still has to work because her, I guess, benefits just aren't enough for her to make ends meet.
An Eaton Park server is now the center of an online fundraising effort to help her financially.
And it all started when a customer just overheard the 81-year-old woman talking about how she still has to work to pay the bills.
Ross Gadati talked to the woman who started the effort and just how much has been raised so far.
It's funny how some things can end up incredible after the most common of circumstance, let's say like going to get lunch.
My son and I went to Eaton Park for lunch yesterday.
This Eaton Park along McKnight Road in Ross Township, serving Tammy Conzier and her son Leo, was a woman by the name of Betty who's been on the job for at least 3 decades.
Wow. She was a great waitress.
30 years she's been working there. 30 years.
Remembered all her orders. Very nice, super friendly, funny, really a great waitress.
Now, during the meal, Tammy heard Betty tell a customer that one of the reasons she is still on the job at 81 was Social Security wasn't paying the bills.
910, she said, on Social Security. I just couldn't imagine, like, my grandma's in her 80s. I just couldn't imagine her having to still have to work and provide.
And that's when Leo and Tammy came up with a plan to help Betty. Part 1 was leave a big tip after the meal. Part 2, put the word on the street, or in this case, the information superhighway, also known as social media.
Do you think we should make a TikTok, Leo? And Leo was like, yeah, let's do it, Mom.
After that was an online fundraising effort to help Betty out financially. And it blew up.
I think it's like 135,000 in the GoFundMe, but people have been Venmoing me too, and that's around like almost 4,000.
Now, Betty's name is not being released, but it's likely. She's pretty surprised. Tammy sure is. As for when she's going to meet with Betty again and tell her the grand total, I guess that will be part 3 of Tammy and Leo's effort.
I guess I'm going to call Eaton Park and figure this out. I didn't expect it to blow up.
Eaton Park released a statement regarding Betty, saying in part that they're thrilled for the outpouring. And as for what Betty can do with the money, Tammy says Betty's worked all her life and hard enough to make her own choice. But Tammy says she hopes she enjoys some of the cash.
I hope she retires and maybe gets to travel if she wants or pay off bills.
And while Tammy and so many others have given so much to Betty, she offered a little advice to Tammy and Leo at that lunch. That's priceless.
Enjoy your life because it goes fast.
In Ross Township, Ross Gadati, KDKA TV News.
Such a good story. And I'm wondering the GoFundMe. Just going to see Eaton Park. Oh, here it is. Holy shit. So that article or the news clip we just watched, let me just see, I put the date, was from the 27th. So 4 days ago. The GoFundMe was at about $100,000. Today, as of now, it is $318,566. Over $250,000. Betty is going to be able to retire. So it just says, my son and I met Betty today. She is a waitress at a local restaurant in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She's 81 years old, and we think she deserves to retire. this is a GoFundMe to help her retire. And then they had put the just a picture of the TikTok, and oh my gosh, here someone commented, worked with her for years. She would come in and cut fruit for her section while I finished up my overnight cooking shift, chatting away. Just don't play her in cards. She will wipe the floor with you. Knock it off, Betty. Also looking for some help recovering from the loss of my mother. If anyone can spare some hope, check my profile. The world truly is a beautiful place. Oh my gosh. $318,000. I mean, you know, TikTok is, you know, could be a bad thing, but in this case, posting on TikTok, you know, and all it took was one woman and her son to post this on social media, and Betty's life is going to be changed forever now. Such a good story. Holy shit. 308. I wasn't expecting it to be that much higher than, you know, the 100,000. Wow. So there were several, and I mean, there's the top donors. I mean, there's quite a few. The highest donors donated $2,500. There were 2 people who donated $2,500. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 donated $1,000, and then several donated between $500 and $700. But total donations, 13,014. 13,014 people donated to Betty. Oh, I know. Yeah, Women's Warrior, I get it. It's a lovely story. However, it doesn't address the issue of someone 81 having to work to survive. I know. I mean, God bless her. But, I mean, you know, I even see, you know, I haven't been to Walmart since before C19, but, well, maybe I have, maybe once. But, you know, you see like the Walmart greeters at the front door, and they're elderly a lot of times. And I always think, like, they shouldn't have to work. They shouldn't have to work. Like, they should be enjoying their lives. And it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. So that is all I have for today. I don't plan on going live tomorrow. Maybe Wednesday. We haven't done Wordsy Wednesday in a while, so I think we'll either do Wordsy Wednesday or we'll do Trivia Wednesday. Maybe we'll do trivia. Or Would You Rather. We haven't done Would You Rather in a while either. So I'll decide. Definitely make sure to have notifications on. And if you haven't liked this video, please do so on your way out. If you are watching the replay, hashtag replay. And again, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Team Brit, right at the last second, I was just about to hit end stream. I didn't want you to think I was dead, so stopping by to give you a like. We'll get with you later. Oh, no. Team Brit, definitely email me. I don't know if you were around when I told the story of the new family of cats I have outside my house. Speaking of, oh wow, there's another new one. I just looked up at the cameras. There is one of the kittens is out there, and there's this gray cat with white paws, and the kitten is now leaving because the gray one scared her away, or him away. Jeez. But anyways, I have a mom and 3 kittens. The kittens are about, I would say, 4 months old. And I gotta go give them food because it's gone. It's gone. And I've been giving them wet food as well. They're getting lots of snacks. So have a great night, everyone. And if I don't see you on these YouTube streets, I will see you on the flip side.
You have one shot on stage, what you got to play? Generic drops for days, still the people rage. Am I not insane? Can you stop and explain why these drops are so lame? Is money buying you fame? I'm fucking on, I'm killing it with this song. You haters can sing along or go back where you belong. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with giving up, moving on. Cause I took your girl to prom, she can't help but sing this song. Till the roof comes off, till the lights go out, till my legs give out, can't shut my mouth, till the smoke clears out. And my high perhaps I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse. Till the roof comes off, till the lights go out, till my legs give out, can't shut my mouth, till the smoke clears out. And my high perhaps I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse. So on like a light switch, flirting back. There's nothing wrong with the way that she's working that. I just want that body bad, come on baby, bring it back. I'm so gone, faded off a 30 rack. She's so on like a light switch, flirting back. There's nothing wrong with the way that she's working that. I just want that body bad, come on baby, bring it back. I rap with a passion, yeah, I got it in me. I've been waiting quite a long time for y'all to hear me. It's about damn time you put some stock into me. You're either sponsoring me or fucking bothering me. And the fact is, we just practice on this madness. That is why your status is like a canvas. Chances our advancement is enhancing, and this new expansion's like a mansion. Comes off till the lights go out, till my legs give out, can't shut my mouth, till the smoke clears out. And my high perhaps I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse. Till the roof comes off, till the lights go out, till my legs give out, can't shut my mouth, till the smoke clears out. And my high perhaps I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse.